Successful rough terrain forklift operators operate the forklift responsibly and within the capabilities of the machine. They learn to pick up and place loads without jarring the load or the landing platform. In order for you to become a successful rough terrain forklift operator, you too must follow these basic rules. Once you have completed all your pre-start and post-start inspections, it is time to operate the forklift. Remember that the only person allowed to ride on the forklift is you, the operator, and that the safety of everyone in the immediate vicinity of the forklift is your responsibility. Before you pick up any load, you must know its weight. Consult the load chart for the forklift you are operating to be certain that you can safely lift the load and extend the boom as far as you need to in order to place the load. You must also know the weight of the load to make certain that the place you will land it has the weight capacity needed. After you have determined that the weight of the load is within safety limits, it is time to pick it up. First, check the condition of the load. If it is on a pallet that is in bad shape, or if the load looks as if it may easily fall off, it may need to be restacked. When you are certain that the load is secure, adjust the forks to the maximum width that will still fit easily into the pallet. This will help keep the load stable while you are transporting it. As you insert the forks into the pallet, start with the forks level and insert them fully until they are fully inserted and the load is against the backrest. If the pallet of material you are attempting to pick up is stacked against other pallets of material, be careful not to damage the pallet or material on the other pallets. Insert the forks only far enough to safely pick up the desired pallet. Lift the pallet up high enough to move it and move it away from the other pallet. Then set the pallet back down and insert the forks fully. Don't carry a load on the ends of the forks. It creates unnecessary stress on the machine, and the load is not as stable as it should be while you move it. Keep the load as low as possible with the forks tilted slightly back while you are transporting. This makes it easier for you to see and helps you to keep the load stable by lessening the effects of any bumps you might hit. Keeping the load held low will also help you to avoid hitting any objects overhead. There are several things to remember as you are moving a load from one place to another. Try to pick a route that is smooth and has few hazards. Make sure that you can always see well by removing your sunglasses or allowing time for your eyes to adjust when going from a bright area to a shadowed area. And by operating the forklift in reverse if the load on the forks is so large that it makes it difficult for you to see where you are going. Drive sensibly. Make smooth starts, stops, and turns, and don't speed. Traveling too fast can cause accidents, damage to the machine, or damage to the load being carried. And remember that too fast is too fast, whether the forklift is carrying a load or not. Always travel straight up or straight down any slopes you encounter. Attempting to travel across the face of a slope or to make a turn on it could cause the forklift to tip over. As you travel up or down a slope, keep the forks pointed uphill if there is a load on the forks, and point it downhill if there is no load on the forks. As you drive in muddy conditions, keep the forklift in the steering mode, where the back wheels follow in the track of the front wheels. This will give the machine a little better traction. If you must cross railroad tracks or similar rough areas, cross them diagonally. This will help keep the load from being jarred and lessen the wear and tear on the forklift. As you travel, stay alert to all people and vehicles that are in or near your path. Stay 3 to 4 vehicle lengths behind any vehicle you are following. If there is another vehicle or a person near the path you are traveling, slow down and sound your horn. Proceed slowly past them once they have shown that they know you are there. Be prepared to come to a complete stop if you fail to get their attention. Whenever you approach a blind corner, you must come to a complete stop. Sound your horn and then proceed slowly and cautiously past the corner. Approach as closely to the scaffold as you can at any point directly under where the load will be placed. Set the parking brake and put the transmission in neutral. Use the hydraulic frame leveler to level the forklift. Make sure that no one is near the lift area and begin to lift the load. While lifting the load, keep the forks tilted slightly back and move the load smoothly toward its landing point. If you notice any instability in the load while you are raising it, lower it immediately and secure it. As the load approaches the landing point, slow the speed of the hydraulics and land the load gently by feathering the controls. Remove the forks from the pallet carefully. With a boom-style forklift, you will need to retract and raise the boom to bring the forks out of the pallet. This is where developing your skill in feathering the controls can be a big help. A signal person is often necessary when you are placing or retrieving a load from an overhead loading platform. Perform all operations slowly and carefully, and follow the signals you are given. You may need to refuel the forklift before you leave for the day. Take the forklift to the approved area. Shut the forklift off. Fuel the forklift. Replace the cap. Clean any spills and drive the forklift from the area. You should also grease the forklift before you leave. Use a grease gun to add grease to all grease fittings. If you are uncertain of their location, consult the manufacturer's manual. When you leave the forklift for the day, park it out of the way of traffic and in a well-drained area. Lower the forks to the ground. Put the controls in neutral. Shut off the forklift and take the keys with you when you leave. You will be a successful operator if you always act in a safe and responsible manner while using the forklift. Develop good techniques and do your best to make sure that the forklift is in good operating condition.